Okay. We're live.
Good evening.
Yeah, that's recording pretty well now.
Yay.
Oh, God.
We've been having a series of technical mishaps today, and it has been a hot fucking mess.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. The playback, everything sucks. Welcome to Morbid Mondays.
Yes, and congratulations. I'm so sorry you have to hear this, but it's my Monday. And of the two of us, I happen to have been the one that ran an entire TikTok channel based on Morbid Monday bullshit. So...
This is the premise of the show for those if first-time listeners. Me and Katya, I'm Brian. This is Katya. We tell stories back and forth to each other. Every week we change. So it's like 1 week it's Katya, 1 week it's me. Hopefully we've never heard them before, but it's morbid, gross, disturbing stories throughout history. So, I don't know. Trigger warnings?
Yes. There will be distressing things. And pending the topics, we will usually put some sort of disclaimer or trigger warning ahead of them, but let's fucking face it, history is awful. Yes, there are beautiful things, but that's not what we're focusing on. No. You came to a podcast named Morbid Monday. You know what you're here for.
So I'm excited to hear what this week's is. Last week's was the Love Canal.
Yes.
And all that horrible bullshit.
They're selling houses there now.
They're selling houses
there now.
They're selling benzene houses. Oh, speaking of which, I learned today, off topic entirely, but fracking water is now used for farming.
The fuck?
The offset fracking, like crude oil and water, it's sold to farmers in drought areas so your strawberries have benzene on them.
Awesome.
Isn't that
and
great?
They're worried about the microplastics.
Isn't that something?
I'm a millennial. I'm going to live forever because, I'm 97% plastic.
We are all slowly turning into some kind of weird fleshy plastic gold.
Doctor Who had it right. We will all be upgraded.
Yeah. God. Fucking Christ.
I'm full of terrible pop culture references, and I'm so sorry. This is the most social interaction I've had all week.
See, that's why we're doing it. Get you out of the house.
All right, so much like Brian, I did have a plan originally for my very first hosting of this particular podcast, and I went on to research my topic, which was the Black Plague, and it was the very first Morbid Monday I ever did on my channel, and I got some shit wrong, so being who I am and not afraid to be wrong, I was going to correct my shit. And I happened to blunder into this topic because I was not aimlessly scrolling through TikTok, but I had it set on the Black Plague, black cats, the church. I set in my parameters.
Set parameters to disturbing medieval England.
Listen, the movies that I primarily watch are religious horror movies because I love that shit. Hashtag trauma.
A lot of nuns.
Nuns. Oh, the fucking nuns. The Nun 2 was weird. Anyway, but so I happened to blunder into this topic, and I was mind blown because I'd A, never heard of it, and B, it sounded so fucking surreal when I heard about it, because it was laced into a few other things. I found it through another creator who I will eventually remember the name of. And I latched onto this one because of the name, because of previous reasons. Hello, religious horror. So it is, are you ready for this? Are you prepared?
Yes, there's some great foreshadowing here. Religious horror.
Art thou prepared, brother?
Oh God. What?
No, it's not. It's I'm definitely playing it up. You listen to my pages turn. ASMR.
Yes, that's right. Yes, this is
Oh, look, gibbeting.
Is that the topic?
No.
Oh, it's
no. All right.
God.
Okay, so first of all, let me hit you with this. Since we did word association at the beginning of the last one, we'll do word association again. Magdelene.
Okay, so as a word, the thing that pops up in my head immediately is like biblical stories.
Yes.
Specifically like the woman washing Jesus's feet.
Yeah, Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
And then also a church in Scotland.
Oh.
That has like Dan Brown in his book did a lot of association with like what if Jesus had kids and all this.
The blood of Christ.
Yeah, the sangreal thing.
Sangreal, the royal blood, as opposed to, the royal cup.
Yeah.
So today is about the Magdalene Asylums, or otherwise known as the Magdelene Laundries.
Ah, okay. Look, I only know. I'm so excited because all I know about this, the only thing I know about it is that like Sinead O'Connor's best friend was in one.
And Sinead O'Connor was in one too.
Yeah, and that's why she was like, so I'm going to rip this picture of the Pope up. And
1996, fuck the Pope.
This was like a Native American school, but they kind of popped up throughout Europe.
So, okay.
But that's all I know is that they were terrible places to be in.
I was so terrified that you were already going to know about this, but also kind of excited to like collaborate on it because I'm not going to lie to you. My research on this particular topic, like the one that we're talking about right now, literally began yesterday because rabbit holes and ADHD.
We are on the same thing because like last week, this is the only reason I know anything about this, because like last week there was an apology or something about one of these in North Ireland.
Yes.
It popped on my news feed.
The government has like officially apologized and is like, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. We'll get you some compensation. And the church is like, oopsie. And that's about it.
Yeah, because that's such a weird, like, I don't, because as I understand them, these things were all over the place, but specifically the ones in Ireland were kind of like of a long history of like suppress the Irish.
Oh my fucking God. Okay, so, it is, my notes are all over the fucking place. And I have like 3 sources pulled up because, like I said, my research on this began yesterday. So, prepared? No. Winging it, absolutely. Would you believe I was terrible at improv? Anyway, so, the Magdalene Asylums, or the Magdelene Laundries, they began on paper with an excellent premise. Now, okay, excellent for the time, I guess. We are different time, different age, different social responsibilities and ethics, really.
Yeah.
But they came about as a kind of social rehab for quote-unquote fallen women.
They're so, okay, so yeah. So I assume these are like people got caught having sex or something.
So initially it began as like kind of a kickstart for women that were in prostitution or had been like kind of exiled from their family for having a child out of wedlock. Like it ties into sex a lot.
Okay.
Like that's how it got its name because, they Mary Magdalene is associated with like, a fallen woman.
Literally wrongly.
Yes,
like,
I know.
The prostitute in the street and Mary Magdalene are two different people.
But
two different times, and they just it's syncretism, right?
Yeah, so it's an unfortunate naming, but on paper, it began as social rehabilitation. They enter into this institution, this asylum, in the definition of the word asylum, as a safe place, as a place where you can go and be taken care of and be safe and then leave. Yeah, sure.
Theoretically, one of like the best things about the Catholic Church is that like if you're being pursued,
you can claim asylum and they will protect you, which is bomb. But as most things that are excellent on paper do, in practice, not so much. So it was originally run by the Protestants, of all people. Like the Protestants were like, we're gonna fix this shit. And then sorry.
Just immediately I'm mad because like the Protestant Catholic clash in Ireland is like the worst thing ever, and I can just imagine some guy like, get ye back, ye whorish women, like just like in that weird like in my
Old
head,
English, Irish.
Yeah, they're from the 1700s.
Dude, so, okay. Actually, you're not very far off. The very first one was established in Whitechapel, England in 1758. Oh, yeah. So it's pretty early. So what's going on in 1758? Like
we're in solid post-Puritan territory where like the real crazies kind of left.
The Age of Enlightenment.
Yeah, but the guys kind of stuck around for a little bit. There's a couple of different movements. Yes, we're in the beginning of the Age of Enlightenment. And
the 7 Years' War is starting.
Yeah, it's a weird time because on one hand, in the Western world as a whole, you've got like religious movements that are becoming much more extreme.
Yes.
Right? And then you have reformist movements. You've got like humanitarians
that are flying in the face of religious tradition, and
they're still like religiously associated, but they're, I guess, as from a theological perspective, you would say that they're deists.
They're chillaxing.
Yeah, they believe in God, but everything else is kind of suspect. Yeah. It's kind of like how much you're really kind of getting into the vein of how much does God matter in day to day. Like this can. If I drop it, it falls to a certain speed. How much is God involved in that process?
Yeah. How much has God slapped that can down versus letting it go? Meh.
Yeah, and is he? Does God govern the natural world, or does science govern the natural world?
Exactly. So it is a period of bizarre and strange upheaval. Like there's stuff that's been going on for like ever, like religion.
Yeah.
And then there's new shit happening.
Yeah, like democracy.
Never the twain should meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot happening. And like so it's originally run by Protestants, and that's when it's begun. And eventually, by the time that we're getting to the meat of this story, the Protestants have gone, you know what? No thanks. And they have passed it off to the Catholics. They have sold various facilities off to them. They've given away control of the Magdalene blah 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 blah. Now, most of them had like regional names. Like I didn't write any of them down because I'm terrible at this. But there were places like the one in Donnybrook that had an actual name. Like it wasn't just the Magdelene Laundry. It was something.
It had some kind of like, you know, the modern day, it's like the Willow Street Women's Center or something like that.
Basically. And so by this time, by this period, I wrote this down. Let me read for a moment. That can't be right. I'm also dyslexic, so occasionally my notes will get a little like wacky. But anyway, so moving on to this, so basically the Catholics are in control at this point. And these facilities have been around, and they are everywhere. Like you've got them popped up in Sweden, Canada, the US.
Because I 100% believe that, because prostitution was
prevalent.
Extremely so.
It's the oldest profession there is.
Yeah, like here in New York, I think it was in New York, during the American Revolution, at this time, there was a place called Church Street. Mm-hmm. And George Washington had to forbid his troops from going to Church Street. What's on Church Street? A church.
The hose.
A fuck ton of brothels. Yeah, it was like a church, and then right behind it, and like the alley was just lined with brothels. It became a big thing because he's like, no, you're going to die. Like, you're going to go to the brothels and have my troops are going to have syphilis or something. And then, like...
It keeps coming back to syphilis and Whitechapel. It's always fucking Whitechapel. Anyway, so a bunch of these facilities have opened. And like I said, on paper, great idea. You check yourself in. You spend a couple of years either doing laundry, learning needlework, or any sort of like mending stuff. Like they were big into like they were laundries, obviously. So you take your clothing there to be laundered, to be altered, and to be fixed. And so they would do like lacework, embroidery, mending shit, laundry, obviously.
Okay.
So the idea was that you would come in, you would learn a profession or a trade. You would do your thing. You would pay your way. You would work to pay your way through the thing. Like you didn't pay anything while you were there. Your services while you were learning paid for you. And then in like 2 years, you would leave, and you would have a profession. You would be able to provide for yourself, and you wouldn't have to be a prostitute.
So this is like, in a weird way, kind of an apprenticeship program.
Basically, yeah. Like I said, on paper, great idea. Totally. absolutely. Bravo. Well done. What the fuck happened? So it passes out of the original control, and it begins to get backing and funding from the state, from the government. And in doing this is where things begin to deteriorate terribly. So it's in control of the Catholics, and the state has come in and is like, hey, we'll help pay for this. Like, you provide your services, you do your thing, we'll help pay for it, and you can, take some of this off our hands. What is this, you ask? Oh, it's the undesirables.
Yeah, okay.
It is.
All right.
It is women that are undesirable in society. These are actual criminals. These are emotionally disturbed. They are mentally disturbed.
It's a sanitarium now.
Yes.
Yeah, we're moving into ugly law territory.
It turns into a prison. It has gone, like, already it is kind of like, it's very strict. Very strict.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they get paid per the amount of people.
Oh, yes.
In the school.
It is absolutely for profit.
God, we keep making this mistake.
Nothing fucks up a good philosophy like profit and power.
Yeah. We have those here now.
Oh, joy. Joy of joys. So things get progressively worse. The people that have checked themselves in, like it was supposed to be a 2-3 year program. You come in, you learn your trade, you pay your way, you get the fuck out, you start your life. It's getting harder and harder and harder to get the fuck out. And then your release time is simply gone. You are no longer allowed to leave once you have checked yourself in. And even then, at this point, like, let's argue that we've advanced maybe 70, 80 years from, 1756 when this got started. So we're now locked solidly in the 1800s. Tell me about the 1800s, Brian, because you know as much as I do.
Okay, so the first warning flag that I saw, because it was in the 1700s, right around the end of the 1700s, and you were like, learn a trade. Knitting, embroidery, lacework. These are all things that are going to die because the Industrial Revolution is going to start in the 1800s. Later in the 1800s. Well, not really. This kind of stuff gets taken over actually by India pretty quickly.
Do you know when the last of the Magdelene Laundries closed?
So when I read the news about this, it was in like the 1980s.
1996.
That's fucking crazy. All right. So this is the thing that I'm hearing. All right. So because like what's happening in the 1800s is in Ireland is the potato famine at some point. Like, because that's, time is time, right? I don't want to be like,
Time is also like periods like the potato famine, like things that lasted X number of years. When you're looking at them across like a century or an age, kind of get a little squishy.
There's also a movement in Ireland called the Fenian movement at this point in time, which is like essentially it's an anti-English thing, right? The Irish have been trying to kick the English out forever. The Fenians are the first real cohesive, muscular movement. Like, we've got bats and guns and we're organized. And they're so organized. They're organized across countries, Australia, US. They're relatively effective. I don't have the direct date. I don't remember when. I want to say the potato famine is later. It's not early 1800s. It's like mid 1800s. I know that's what causes so many Irish people to come to America during the Civil War. So or right before it. So that's a little later. But this is apartheid Ireland. This is like the English are putting the boot down on everyone.
There's a fucking lot going on. And in the middle of all of this is this strange anti-sex shift. Like, it's always been taboo, but now it's like, don't be seen pregnant in the street. Like, it's very prude. It's very puritanical.
What year? Are we talking like Victorian England?
Well, so that's the thing, is that my broad research on this spans so much time.
Yeah.
Because it began mid-1700s and it ended in 1996.
Yeah.
Like, there are people alive that have come forward that said, I was in a Magdelene Laundry. I mean, Sinead O'Connor was one of them. Do you know why she was sent there? She was shoplifting.
Oh my God. And they don't have, like, essentially the school decides when you're done.
Basically, like, and that's the thing, is that because everything is like, they are a privately owned for-profit establishment, which is a weird thing to say considering when you consider that it was run by nuns.
That is like the reason why church and state should always be separate, is because when you mix in like a dogmatic view, right? We as a culture can change over time. So like if we say like, okay, we're going to run this, like what is essentially an indentured servant school. Over time, we might change our opinions. The laws change, whatever. The schools get shut down or they get morphed into something else. Kind of like the juvenile programs in America have just gradually shifted into what is essentially like a school.
It's kind of like a trade school.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like, okay, the issue is you don't work well with people. We're going to stick 10 of you in a little classroom. And there's not enough of you to cause problems. Yeah, like that. It changes the social dynamic. If it's a good place, like the Lighthouse Academy, right? Yeah. Like it's you go and you learn in a more controlled environment.
It's smaller and more personalized, and so you get the help that you require if they're for whatever reason you are lacking in an area.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, like I think I've told you the story that of poor Taylor being crucified by the school district before his mom lawyered up and bent them over the desk. She's my hero. I love her. So anyway, but like he described it while he was there because he had to do like this weird weekend boot camp thing, and he was going to school at the Lighthouse, and he described it. It's so much easier to learn shit. You can ask questions and get an actual answer.
Yeah, you don't have, because a teacher isn't trying to teach like 60 kids at one time.
Exactly.
And like theoretically, if we'd quit just defunding our schools, that's kind of where we would wind up. But
yes, once
you enter like an institution like a church in there, they're not as prone to change. That's the thing about like kind of what makes religion is that it prioritizes tradition.
And if you think about it, like how much of Catholicism has changed in the last 400 years?
Oh, I mean, there's social stuff.
But at the root base of it.
No, it's the same. Like that's their whole claim to fame, right? Yeah. Like the Orthodox churches, especially the Eastern Orthodox, Armenian Orthodox, like their whole thing is we're the same litany for 2,000 years. It's their whole thing is like we're unmoving. And the Catholic Church has morphed a couple of times. Like I would say that like pre-Viking Catholic Church is very different from post-Viking Catholic Church.
Well, I mean, that's also a couple,
Yeah, you're spanning, yeah, hundreds upon hundreds of years. But they're not prone to change, right? Yeah. Like that's their whole thing.
It's very static, for lack of a better word. Let me recenter myself here. So let's say we're about mid 1800s. Like we're 1845, 1860, like that squishy little spot right there. Women don't have a whole lot of rights. Like your family can be like, I don't want to deal with you and check you into an asylum and just kind of leave you there so long as they can pay for it.
Oh.
And
I don't like that.
Yeah. It's true though.
Yeah.
And so like husbands who are tired of their wives can just kind of throw them away and call them crazy. I mean, hysteria is a medical diagnosis at this point with a real fun treatment. But a couple of them. This is a place that is well known to take in the undesirables. And should they re-enter society, they have a trade, a purpose. They're no longer, for some fucking reason, they are hell-bent on like prostitutes are bad.
That's a pretty endemic thing in Ireland. Like that, there's a very famous song about a person called Molly Malone, and it's like it's a simple like old shanty song where she's like she sells cockles and mussels alive, and they built a statue. Yeah, and like people, it's kind of famous because it's a woman pushing like a fish cart, and when you touch bronze statues,
it turns like gold. Like gold bright.
Because they get polished by like the rubbing of your hands
and the oil in your
tits,
skins.
Bright gold.
Yep.
Everybody comes by and touches her tit, and it's like you fucking assholes, but. But so there was a big argument years ago over whether she was chaste or not, if she was just a song about a fishmonger. And I'm like, no, this is clearly a joke. She sells cockles and mussels.
Come on, that's come on.
Come on. It was like, come on, guys. Like, she's a woman. She's literally a fishmonger in the middle of the morning. It's not. Yeah, you wouldn't write a song about somebody just selling fish.
This song is about sex.
Yeah.
So there is the face of it is basically to give the fallen a place to go and a place to learn things, and it becomes less rehabilitation center and more penitentiary. It's straight up a prison at this point. Like, there are reports now. These reports come later from like people that may or may not still be alive, like at this moment as we speak. But you were basically taken in, your head was shaved, you were given an ID number, and you might be given a new name. You were allowed to keep no piece of your identity. They gave you this drab uniform. You were not allowed to speak.
And this is in Ireland mostly? Mm-hmm.
Well, the most famous, like, it blew wide open recently, actually, like in 2016. And when we get there, you'll see why this rabbit holed for me. Why I have 4 pages of notes and like not a whole lot of like detailed information in it. Like, it's very broad strokes because there's so much of it and it is still coming out.
That's so fucking okay. So I'm getting a mental picture of this, and I thought they were just kind of like juvenile schools. The head shaving and no name thing is crazy culty. Mm-hmm. Like, that is 100% a like
dehumanizing.
The army uses it essentially because they're like, it's a fast track way to reteach someone, like, because they're going to have to make you into a whole different person. Yeah. They're like, you're about to go through horrendous shit, and if we care for you, which is essentially like what drill sergeants will tell you, and they're like, if I care about your life, it means being as hard as possible because you're going to go into a really hard place. Yeah. If I like soft hand it, you might die.
But think about this in terms of like what you, a person, like, say, put yourself in the shoes of some poor woman in the 1800s who has no other choice. You may or may not be pregnant because you could have been sexually assaulted, or your lover fucked off, or like
or you're just a teenage girl.
Right? Girl.
It's like 1940 or something, like, because we're spanning hundreds of years.
Literally hundreds of years. Yeah. I cannot express this enough. Think about this in terms of eras. Like, if you must, like, it's the 18th century into the 20th century.
Yeah, it makes way more sense in the 18th century because it makes sense to me, but because it makes sense to the culture. So it's kind of like your honor has been sullied, like for aristocrats, get you to a convent, like, and you literally might become a nun. Or be in the charge of one for a little while. And it feels like that, but like, as run by the Empire from 40K.
Bro.
Shave your head.
No, you're not wrong, though.
Yeah, like, Krieger, get to sewing, Krieger. It's like, what the fuck? Like, so, it's the fact that it feels like a re-education camp from, like, Maoist China.
It's insane. Like, the more I read about it, the more, like, upset I got. Because, like, families would bring their unwed, pregnant daughters to this place and just give them over, wash their hands of them, and walk away.
That's gotta be like, it's the cruelest irony that it's called a laundry.
Yes.
Because it's like, you've been washed clean, but like, also we wash our hands of
all of the community's clothes and, our responsibility of you. Now, here's the thing. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Have you heard of the mother and baby homes? This is also...
I really hope it's just a fucking hotel for single moms.
Oh, it's not. Like I said, this thing snowballed and it got so much bigger and so much worse. And I could literally go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But I'm trying to keep it relatively succinct, which is hard for me because you know how I like to go on tangents.
Yeah.
So, dude. The mother and baby homes, on paper, once again, on paper, were where a woman who was down on her luck, maybe her husband had died or she was unwed, or a family could turn their pregnant daughter over to them, and no questions. Like, they would take the daughter in, the daughter would give birth. There could be a choice. You keep the baby or the baby goes for adoption.
Yeah, okay.
And then on paper, the woman, the mother, would exit and go on with her life, either with the child or without. So, there came a point where there was a pipeline between the mother and baby homes and the Magdelene Laundries.
For the babies?
No. So there's some horrific shit coming up, and I'm going to try to soften it up as best I can.
No, I don't. Yeah, just hit me with it. That's
so,
because I'm getting really horrible mental images of, like, you go into the mother baby home. I am aware of what, like, not so politely called bastard trains are. Mm-hmm. Here in America, we had a thing where trains of unwanted children were dispersed throughout America into worker towns where it was, like, mostly men and a couple of women, but people who wanted kids. And they were just kind of, like, disseminated. I'm super confused because I was thinking of the Magdelene Laundries as, like, young people.
Yes and no. So many would enter, like, middle age or young. The youngest that they would officially take on paper was 12, which, think about that.
That's, like, the age that you're entering puberty and can even have a kid.
Yeah.
Like, post-12. Like,
that it's fucking disturbing. At this point, there weren't many people leaving the laundries anymore. Like, once you were there, you were kind of, it was the Roach Motel. You can check in, but you can't check out.
oh.
And there came a point where now I'm not sure if it was this case in all of them, but these were the singular case that I kind of focused on because it had a lot of the same details that everything else was. And so there came a point where the mothers would enter the mother and baby homes, give birth, and their child would be taken from them. And and I believe there's actually still a case, like, going on right now about children that were literally taken from families that wanted them.
Yeah.
And they've been dispersed.
Yeah, sure.
Across the world, like international adoptions. Like, these children just vanished. And those were the ones that lived. Because it's the 1800s, the infant mortality rate is high.
Oh, dude, my brain went so dark when you said that. You were like, those are the ones that lived. And I was like, oh, there's like a Cambodian tree somewhere. Yeah, like the Khmer Rouge tree. We'll get it. That will be an episode.
That's going to be a thing because I don't know what that is. So don't educate me yet.
Oh my God. We'll get into that at some point.
Episode 5.
UNESCO World Heritage Site. Anyways.
So the children were taken, and rather than being, like, cared for and, like, catch and release from the mother and baby homes.
We gotcha.
Now we're going to tag you and let you go. It was the worst Irish accent ever. Oh, please, if I have any Irish listeners, please, please, please do not be offended.
Yeah, this is gallows humor. My brain is going to the worst possible places it can go because I know how bad these, like, anytime you have a large amount of women controlled by any kind of governmental organization, there's a Jimmy Savile some fucking where. I mean, like, this is going to get bad. Like,
there began a pipeline of the mothers from the mother and baby homes just kind of being shuffled into the Magdelene Laundries and lost because you lose your entire identity in there. You know, like, if you go in an Irene, you're given a number, your head is shaven, you're not allowed to speak. If you do get correspondence from your family, it is heavily monitored and edited. Like, families weren't allowed to visit their daughters.
Yeah, because they're marrying the worst parts of a nunnery and a prison, so they're essentially being cloistered.
It is awful, and so there are records that just kind of stopped, and she went to this mother and baby home, and was never heard from again. The child gone, the daughter We don't know. We were told that she chose to take this job here. Is that true? We don't know. We never saw her again. And this continued. And there are, like I said, all of the reports, like the written and like witness testimonies. I'm not sure how old they are because, like I said, there are people alive right now that survived this.
Oh, fuck, dude. Yeah.
And
I imagine there were people that were born into it.
Yes. There were children, small children that grew up in these facilities. Like, the second that they were old enough and able to move, like, I presume that these are the kids that, quote unquote, aged out of the infant adoption thing that the other place was doing.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of, well, we don't know what to do with you, but you can hold a basket. Here you go.
Yeah, they're still wards of the state.
Yeah.
And in a state where that is very interested in keeping, like, Irish people in check. Because that's, like, a running theme with British power in Ireland is that it is there to keep Irish people in check. Which is weird because they've literally done, like, nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
just
not a lot of...
They exist.
There's not a lot of history of, like, Ireland invading anyone, for instance.
For real, they're so chill.
Like, the last time that I'm even aware is, like, I mean, we're talking Anglo-Saxon England.
Yeah.
Every other thing is, like, a revolt.
Yeah.
It's a revolt to British power. It's like
basically them going, please leave us alone.
Yeah, and attack the whatever. And they... So... It is possible at this point to be born into a mother-baby.
It is indentured servitude.
Yeah, except for there's no, like...
There's no indenture?
There's no indenture. Yeah,
there's no indenture.
Anything out of it.
Like, you are not... When you are here, when you are... Say that you have transitioned from the mother and baby home to the Magdelene Laundry where they tell you that, you know, you'll work, learn a trade, and then leave.
But, like, a useless trade...
So, well, see, the big thing that they kind of phased out the needlework part of it. Like, they still did mending and, like, cleaning and stuff, but it was largely laundry. Like, they were doing the laundry of the entire community, and you were not getting paid for it. In fact, your service, your work, was you paying for your upkeep, or at least that's what they would what they would tell them.
Work for room and board. It's like you're like a traveling laborer or something.
And it was all alongside of, like, literal brutality. Like, you were beaten. You were not allowed to speak. If you acted out in any kind of way, you could be punished any kind of way that they saw fit. Like, from being made to sleep out in the snow. That's a true story. That happened. Or, like, what meager food you were given could be taken away, or you could be put on a bread and water diet.
Yeah.
To, like, basically starve the rebellion out of you.
That was a British thing for, like, a long time. If you went to, like, Australia as a penal colony person, a big punishment that they would do is that, so you would get rations of, like, flour, right? So you would get, like, rations of, like, dough for making stuff, dried meat, fish, that kind of shit, right? Probably ale sometimes. But if you tried to escape, a lot of times your punishment would be that you would be put on bread and water because it would make you so tired you really couldn't fight back.
Well, yeah, because you're not getting anything that you need.
Yeah. It's a subsistence diet and you're always kind of low energy.
Yeah.
The numbers thing is crazy because, like, all prisons do this, but most prisons, like, having worked in a state facility, most prisons still, like, kind of call you by name. Your number is for, like, court shit.
Yeah.
And, like, your work detail and stuff like that. You come and so, like, what's your number? And then you say this. It's for lawsuits.
Yeah.
You hit somebody, what's your number? You write it down. And if you lie, it's basically perjury.
Yeah.
Because you're making a declaration. So you kind of can see why it's used in, like, a penitentiary because of the legal side of it.
But remember, this isn't supposed to be a prison.
No. Yeah, it sounds like the initial intention was a weird kind of morphed version of, like, come here and clean yourself spiritually and do labor, which is good because Puritan, like, it's a very Protestant thing, right? Like to be like,
to be cleansed and reborn.
Yeah. And then you're like, you're literally being washed of your sins to some degree and then going back into society as a reformed student. It kind of sounded when you were first describing it almost like a finishing school, but but like in a cloister, which is not uncommon in like the 1600s.
And not generally bad.
No, usually you got an education out of it.
Yeah.
You would come out like knowing how to read and stuff like that, knowing how to sew and have a lot of skills. Essentially, it was a wife farm. Like, that's a really weird way to say it, that you would come out and you had like...
Well, that's what finishing school was.
Yeah, you had a lot of like quote-unquote womanly skills.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times you could read and stuff like that. And knowing the Bible was important in society for a long time. But shaving the head still... Some people still do that when they go into certain religions. There's a ton of different kinds of Catholics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like orders. And as far as I understand it, some people still do that when they first put on like the frock. You can't see it because they've got the big like habit.
It's kind of part of the like, I am devoting myself to this by sacrificing.
Yeah.
You know.
And then they like never do it again. Like their hair grows out and all that kind of stuff. But it's like it's a thing of sacrifice. You're crossing a certain threshold. You're doing a thing. It's like ceremonial.
Yeah, for a long time, like a woman's pride, quote unquote, is her hair.
Right.
Like that's why it was such a big deal when, you know.
Cast off your vanity, wear these all black clothes and all that kind of stuff, which has a kind of ritual significance to it. And a lot of people in current modern day are very happy doing that. But like, shave your head, get a number, don't speak, do laundry. It feels like we were talking about Warhammer earlier, and it very much feels like you're a last chancer now. You know, like get in here. You know, like it feels it feels like the nuns or the inquisitors. You know, like
dude, it's crazy. Like they weren't allowed to, like when you were assigned a workstation, you were not allowed to leave for anything, unless like the nuns said you could.
So we're dealing with children, so this is going to get dark. Like people are going to pee where they're working. That's going to happen.
It is awful. It gets progressively worse and worse and worse. And like people, like I said, people check in, they don't check out. They just die.
So here in America, for a long time in the prison system, we have what was called a turnkey system. So the guards were inmates. Inmates who were like there for a long time would garner a certain amount of power. Then they would be called turnkeys. So they would have keys. And they controlled the cell block like a underboss, you know, like they kind of controlled, they were criminal. It kind of controlled the other criminals. And we quit doing that because you would get a kind of organized crime going on. I don't think this is the case, but I imagine that if you are born into this system and grow up, a couple of these people join the system. Because it's advantageous, right? Like you're treated so bad that if you can become part of the machine.
I'm sure there are instances of it, but I really didn't read about any of that. Largely the reports and sources that I found focused a lot on like there were escape attempts and like imagine this facility and it has these great stone walls around it, and the tops of these walls are like they kind of glitter in the sun, and that's because they have broken glass bottles in the tops of the walls. So even if you could manage to scale the wall, by the time you got up there, you were so sliced open that when you got on the other side, you were immobilized.
That is some fucking man catcher shit.
It's insane. Like the further down,
I've never even heard of that as a tactic.
Welcome to my last, 32 hours.
Essentially, it's like fucking poor barbed wire.
It's basically razor wire.
That's fucking nuts. These are, again, like teenage girls.
These are teenage girls and women, and at this point, there are some old women in there because they were never let go. And these are women that were there may have been one or two prostitutes at one point, but now these are women that were outspoken or a little too flirtatious.
Yeah, sure. It's a scare tactic.
Maybe they were a little crazy, a little unhinged. These are also women that have been abused.
Yeah, I would say a lot of these are going to be women who just got sexually abused, and then they say like, "Oh no, she was a whore," and then they throw her in the. Because this happens now.
Yes.
And like very famously, like when I was still in my 20s, there was a young girl in Iran that was hung by a crane because her uncle molested her. And then they were both charged. He was beaten severely. Don't even know, like there was some
But they killed her.
But they killed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that she went into jail. She got out. He did it again. The time that he did it again, they like caned him. So he like barely survived this. But like caning isn't deadly for a larger guy. It hurts. You're going to bleed a lot. She was essentially, she was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to, like there was a whole thing about that. And they literally like slow hung her. The violence against women is so crazy. And it's not always religiously based. It is often religiously based. And from people, it makes no sense. Like you got to do some fucking mental gymnastics.
I told you this topic was going to be heavy.
Yeah, you have to do some real mental gymnastics to read the story of Mary Magdalene in the Bible and go like, I know what Jesus would have want. Beat him and put him in a fucking cell full of
Dude, Jesus was a hippie.
The broken glass ring is so apocalyptic.
Yeah, I read that and kind of had to stop and walk away for a minute because think about this, because there are recorded instances of women escaping this facility and they were brought back.
It is
the authorities brought them back. They were not prisoners.
No.
They weren't even patients. It wasn't even like a medical asylum. It was quintessentially a social rehab facility.
But
and
because the government
brought them back.
Yeah, because they're like at this point they're wards, right?
Essentially.
But adult wars.
Yes.
That's the wildest thing because they haven't committed a crime.
No.
So that you're essentially grandfathered.
They created a social faux pas by, I don't know, being a little too outspoken.
God forbid we use like condoms and birth control though.
Well,
that was like a big thing in like the 1900s because everybody's gonna fuck. You can't stop it. You're never gonna.
Boy, howdy, did the Catholics try though?
Yeah, we're still doing this in schools where we try to teach kids abstinence.
Oh,
and I'm like, you're
God.
talking about teaching them. You can teach an adult abstinence, and the reason why I say that is because they have like a certain philosophy about their life, and they can ration against their natural inclinations. You cannot teach a child to do things that are unnatural.
You can teach a child about consent.
Yes.
Like if this person says, no, don't touch them.
Yeah. People are going to fuck.
Yeah.
There's no stopping. People are going to fuck.
People gonna fuck.
As a matter of fact, I really feel like, let's say you're successful and you're just like, we're going to teach all these people not to be unchaste and all that kind of stuff. The people who are still going to fuck past everybody not fucking are the people you definitely, you know what I mean? Like, are the people who are like manic about fucking. Like, they're going to be fucking all the time. You're never going to stop. You're never going to stop that. And it's so fucking crazy to penalize a human being for being a human being.
And only one of the human beings.
Yeah, it's not like there's any dudes in here.
Exactly. It's I could go on and on about this because like I have always had very, very, very loud opinions about this particular brand of misogyny. But all of that background to say, I believe it's 2011, if I'm reading this correctly. In 2011, one of these facilities, 2011, let me stress that again. 2011. One of these facilities had basically like stopped being an asylum, one of the laundries, and it was just a convent. So it had shut its doors on all of that, and it wanted to move. It wanted to sell land, like to basically like all the nuns therein were like, yo, we're tired of this place. We won't move. Oh shit, we got to get permits because we got bodies on premises. Right. So they go and they get all of the permissions and they go to essentially move what is the known graveyard there. And they say we have...
Sure, yeah, they're going to exhume all the known graves, move them into a different...
We have X amount of graves. Here are the certificates, and we're just going to, respectfully move them along. They had over double the bodies that they had certificates for. Like they said that we had, I think, don't quote me on this, like I said, but this is your jumping point. This is not the end all be all on this subject. This is just for you to go, wow, that's horrifyingly interesting. I'm going to go research this. So they said they had like 75 bodies on premises of like people that had, perished therein, and they had death certificates for them, and they went to exhume, and they had, I want to say it was 150 bodies in unmarked graves. Kind of a mass grave, really.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then, do you remember the how we talked about the babies?
Yeah, that were just kind of separated from their mothers.
So many of those went into, like, you know, undocumented adoption, and they just kind of filtered their way out.
Yeah.
They found a whole mess of bodies in a septic tank.
In a septic tank?
Now, granted, what qualifies as a septic tank from, like, X year? Because as I understand it, reading it, it was over the course of, as opposed to, like, you know, they had 15 infants that they just dumped in a tank. So they went to dig all of this out, and it was just horror after horror that they found. And that's how a lot of this came to light. Like, this story really, really broke in 2011 on in through, like, I believe there was a documentary done in 2014 where a whole bunch of, like, people that had survived this, like, had the few people that had managed to get out came forward and talked about it.
Fuck. So
I'm so uncomfortable, I'm laughing.
All right, so what constitutes a septic tank in the 1800s?
Versus a septic tank now.
For most people, a septic tank is, we dug a pit, and I am imagining what I would just call a lime pit. Mm-hmm. And so, like, bodies go in, they put lime on top, they put soil on top of the lime. The lime helps break down the bodies.
Yeah. So they found partial remains of, like, I don't remember the number of the infants anymore, but it was very high. And they're, like, I got my numbers wrong earlier. The mass grave was discovered in 1993.
Oh.
So that's when they basically got wind that something was fucked. And there was a bit of an investigation into it. And that's how they found, like, I believe, I want to say the infant thing was found at some place called Tuan, I think. Yeah. Please hold while I Google. This just gets darker and darker.
While you're doing your research, I'm going to vamp a little bit. We've got a stone-walled church.
Now, this is only one of the facilities that I focused on.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
right?
They are littered all over Ireland, and they're kind of, like, spotted in and out of Europe. And then there's, like, 2 or 3 in the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, because these are the Indian schools. 100% these are the Indian schools, the quote-unquote Indian schools, where they take their kids and they put them in a finishing school, Catholic finishing school, and then they, like, give them names and kind of strip them of their culture. In my head, I'm envisioning, like, a regular-looking chapel and then, like, what is essentially a factory laundry.
Mm-hmm. It was a
like a bunch of big
industrial
pits.
laundry, essentially,
with the swinging arms going around, washing everything, or and dyeing things.
It is hot,
yes,
and humid and loud and just generally kind of inhospitable.
And there's a stone wall with fucking broken glass bottles to keep you from crossing the stone wall, and there's a pit with babies in it.
Well, so it is. I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, the facility that I read about with the babies was a care home for unmarried mothers. Remember the mothers and babies?
Yes. Okay.
So this is a linked facility. So there is a known pipeline that went from here to here. Like, you had your baby, and you may or may not have been given the choice to keep the child.
Yeah.
But do you want to contribute to society? Like, do you want to learn a thing? Here, go over here. Gotcha. Checked in, can't check out. So it was a care home run by the Bon Soeur sisters, a Catholic religious order of nuns who received unmarried pregnant women to give birth. These women were separated from their children, who remained elsewhere in the home and raised by the nuns until they could be adopted. Given the time period, this is infant mortality rates are high. Like, yeah. Not only, like, right now, as of this moment, SIDS is a thing.
Sure.
Sudden infant death syndrome. You are now compounding it with the lack of medical and prenatal and, like, neonatal care.
Oh, we're talking, like, poor Irish people from the 17 to the 1900s. Congenital syphilis will be a thing here.
Yeah.
Rickets will be a thing here.
Exactly.
Measles will be a thing here.
So it is a very real possibility that, like, the child that you just gave birth to, that you have been separated from, that you may or may not have decided to keep, has just been taken from you. And it could, in fact, have just died, and you will never know. Yeah,
it's not like there's a NICU ward in this fucking, like, Oblivion Gate you've just walked into.
And probably given the volume of, because once again, we've established that during this time period, there's a series of wars and battles. So you, of course, have soldiers and troops. And so you have a volume of people coming through. And once again, people gonna fuck.
Yeah.
You gonna get babies. You gonna get babies that don't have daddies. So you probably have a very large number of people in the facility, in the care home at any given time. You're not going to have time to dig graves for the infants that don't make it.
Yeah, sure.
So it just becomes a mass grave, and it's just quietly not spoken about.
So here's the wild thing. here's like the minutia that my brain's working around, right? Someone has to dig these things. Mm-hmm. So and there's not like a grave digger here. There's no way. If this is bottled up this tight to where people who are coming into these like mother homes don't know how horrible it is, nothing is going in or out. There's a closed system, which means that
there's a really buff nun digging holes.
Or there's kids digging holes for their own friends.
Oh, I really hope not, because that's a whole new level of fucked.
I mean, we've got like bar-coded shaven head halfway nuns.
Dude, that's fucking that one fucked me up. Like,
yeah, that's like some V for Vendetta shit.
The dehumanizing of a person that has come to you for help. That has come to you in trust of I want to change my life.
Yeah.
And now this person has just been basically peeled all of their personal everything away. You've taken their hair, you've taken her name, you've taken her clothes, and you have taken her freedom.
And against a backdrop of British colonialism, which is the worst shit of all time.
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor, who apparently went to one of these schools.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking wonder, because she was kind of like
weird.
Yeah, like whenever they interviewed her, when she did that thing where she ripped a picture of the Pope on SNL. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what a weird scenario. But like, no fucking wonder. I understand her so much more now. If I saw the fucking horror that you're describing, yeah, I'd change my religion.
Yeah.
I would change my religion in a heartbeat. There's no way you wouldn't be able to go through the rest of your life with any semblance of that belief system. I brought up Sinead O'Connor because she had a song that was like, let me tell you about the famine. There was no famine. And that became like a TikTok thing. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't really a famine. So the potato famine started because a fungus went through the potato leaves and killed a lot of potatoes, right? Yes. Ireland is a beef industry.
That makes sense.
It's covered in sea. It's an island, right? So there's a fishing industry, there's a beef industry because there's nothing but grass. There's rolling hills of grass everywhere. So pigs, like pork, beef, chicken, fish were big industries in Ireland. They also grow a lot of like barley and shit. And the reason why the famine was as bad as it was is because they couldn't diversify. So they would have cattle and they would kind of have to sell it to British industry first. And they were paying fucking nothing because they had like dibs basically on the ability for the cattle to leave the country. So it had to come through these British merchants. And so they paid nothing for it. So not only are you taking their food in the middle of a famine, you're paying them bottom dollar. So now they're also poor and they can't ship in food.
So they're down to fish and
theft.
Yep.
Like that's what you see in tons of stuff. What a lot of people turn into is roving, right? They start becoming like road pirates. And they start like in the case of a couple of them, actual pirates where they get on a boat and they go somewhere else. And they go to like Liverpool and they become like a gang.
Oh, Liverpool.
And so you see that over and over, or they do what so many people in a really shitty position in a shitty overlorded government end up doing, which is that they join the military just to get out.
Yep.
And it's like, God damn it. I'm getting this picture in my head of like a person in a ringed wall around a factory, again with glass on the top so they can't get out.
Yeah, I got hung up on that too.
With a shaved head, and I'm assuming like white linens as clothing, right?
So here's a relatively recent-ish picture.
Yeah, this is like the English manor house design.
And if I am correct, this one is from about 1933. Do you see how young all of those faces are?
Nobody in this picture is above 18, except for the people at the back. There's a couple of like grown adults. That's a young person. They're just worn. That may be an adult, or maybe they're just very tall.
Now, given the time period, yes, short hair was in vogue. Yeah. But come on.
Like, it's also a prison cut, right? Yeah. Like a person with scissors can just go down and cut a bob.
And the children?
Oh, fuck, dude.
I found images for anybody.
There's like 5 kids in an iron pipe playpen in the middle of a room with babies. The nurses taking care of the place are other children. Like they seem to be like the wards that are just in the infant area. And you see nuns at the very back, a statue of the Virgin Mary, or probably Magdalene, actually. In this context, they might as well be fucking specters.
Yeah, it's giving a very like creepy looming vibe.
Yeah.
So the last of these facilities shut down in 1996, like very quietly closed its doors. It's a lot.
That is a lot. That's fucking crazy. I knew that these things existed. And it's like when you first said the Magdalene schools, I was like, all right, I know that they existed and I know that they were like worldwide. Most of the context that I know of them is through cultural eradication of Native Americans in like British Columbia. You know, when the Irish were like car bombing people, I get it. I really do. Like when you look through Irish history and you look at every time the British are involved in Irish history, it is just or the church, which is so fucking wild because it's like this weird version of Catholicism to some degree.
There's a reason that I have a great big like yick for like large organized religion. Like believe what you want to believe.
Yeah, but because this can happen.
Yeah.
It's so, oh my God, it's so bizarre. It's
to take a pretty kind idea and essentially turn them into slave labor camps.
Yeah.
Like it's a prison that runs on slave labor, and if you are brought there, you are not leaving. You will die within those walls.
Because you had a baby, or because you were poor, or because you were maybe schizophrenic.
Or maybe you were just a little too pretty. Because there are reported cases of, and I quote, women who might be too tempting to men.
Ugh. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Dude, like, don't look, I do understand in the modern world sometimes people say that, like, young women are dressing too adult. There are points at which I understand that argument if the clothes are specifically designed to be alluring and they're on, like, a 12-year-old. Mm-hmm. That's pretty weird. And I'm like, what the fuck is up with that? But, you know, like, but if you look at a child and you just say, well, I don't know if these men could control themselves. Well, then that's their fucking fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
There's never been in history, there has actually, but very few points in history where it's just like this level of enforcement of sexuality or identity around men. It's like you look at like bathing suit laws, right?
Here's something that I struggled to find because I suspected, like going into it after reading into it, like just a little bit, like I was still like scratching the surface of it, going, "This is awful. Please don't let it be as awful as I think it is. Oh, it's worse." I was under the impression that it would probably also be a hiding spot for the family gaze,
right? Because that convents become that in a lot of like.
And there is
European history.
There are very few pieces of evidence that suggest that. Like there are, I think the quote was like women of specific persuasions of friendship.
Yeah, sure. Roommates.
And they were roommates. But like there's not...
His roommates are hanging a lot of pictures on the walls. What the hell's going on here?
The gays. But like and that there's speculation that was one of the reasons that the no talking thing happened.
Oh, yeah, okay. So that they couldn't actually form any
friendships or relationships. Yeah.
The core tenets of human society. Don't have any of those.
Dude, no. This whole thing is fucked. For anybody listening at home, it's the Magdelene Laundries or the Magdalene Asylums, and you will find them fucking everywhere, and they are terrible. So, yeah, that's that. I stopped reading it, like, you know, the last one shut its doors in 1996, and I just went, fuck this.
There are points in time violence feels justifiable. I'm going to share like an anecdotal story. I was in a break room about a month ago, and somebody was listening to in a educational kind of way, a podcast where people were discussing conversion camps.
Oh.
And one person was arguing kind of for, like, they were rationalizing conversion camps.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and I was like,
don't do that.
What a sick fucking...
You need a punch in the mouth.
Yeah.
Then maybe a frying pan to the back of the head.
It's so...
So yeah, I had to retreat into some like really fluffy fan fiction from there because like I just needed to get away from the horrors of humanity.
Yeah, the fuck, dude. Look,
the nuns. The nuns were beating them.
Oh, of course.
Now, granted, I went to a Catholic school when I was little. Like it was on base and it was private, and my parents were like, "She'll be good there." In case you can't tell, I've always been very strongly opinionated, and I am loud by nature. Probably because I can't hear in one ear. Who knows? It could also be
I'm not sassy, I'm deaf. Get the hell off me.
No, I'm
sassy and deaf.
But I can very, very vividly recall being told, like, you know, 2 or 3 times as a child with ADHD, you got to tell me more than once, because the first time I'm not going to hear you. The second time I'm only going to catch about half of it. And the third time you're already tired of me. So, like, being told, hold the edge of your desk and crack.
That shit.
A ruler across the knuckles.
Let me hit the most vulnerable bones in your body.
Yeah.
The things that can be broken very easily. The fear is the heart of love thing is bonkers to me.
There's a reason I opted out of Catholicism, like, as soon as I figured it out. Like, I have memories of being in a Catholic church with both of my parents because they were both raised Catholic. Like, my father still does, like, the woo prayers that I never learned. It's like, it's weird being at funerals with my dad because he's doing the thing and I'm just like, cool, don't know the words.
Your dad's over here casting magic spells and shit.
And I'm over here just mouthing watermelon to go along with him. Yeah. I don't know what's happening.
It's weird because it's like in practice, right? When you go Armenian Orthodox churches, right? Old school things. The initial impression that you get is like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the music is beautiful. The things that they're saying in like Aramaic sometimes are psalms. They're literally singing gospels and psalms and there's incense in the air and it's very woo. It's very woo. Guys come in black shawls with like magic scepters.
It's woo and it's beautiful and it's steeped in like tradition and like I would later like find my own place in religion, like, you know, as one does.
Yeah.
And I would come to understand religion from a place of love and understanding. And like, you know, I strive to be the best person I can because that's what I want to be. But imagine if you could pluck Jesus at a time. Oh my God.
And then be like, hey, I got something to show you. And then show him one of these places. He'd flip his fucking shit. This dude got mad about, like, prayer money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me?
Dude.
Here, Jesus, this here's an AK-47. Have fun. You know, like,
Oh, you wanted a whip? No.
Yeah.
Point and click, baby. Point and click.
It's like, here are some literal
I just called
demons.
our Lord and Savior, baby.
Yeah.
Let me just walk away.
Here's some literal demons
Sacrilege.
for you to come after. Like, that's so goddamn weird. You were telling me, like, you started describing the baby pits. And then I go, like, and at what point does somebody pull back their hat and reveal that they are, in fact, a greater demon of some form?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The archway of the glass, broken glass.
Broken bottles. Like broken and shattered glass bottles off the top of the, like, stone wall around what is supposed to be essentially a reform school.
Yeah, that's an add-on, too. That's some DIY fucking torture.
That wasn't built in.
No.
They put that there.
You can, like, the original people designing this place.
Who the fuck
if
were
they
these
wanted
nuns?
spikes, they would have put up spikes.
Yes.
Right? They'd be barred because gates work this way. That's why you can't climb them. They've got spikes all over them.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, what?
Yeah,
This is like, to me, you know what I'm hearing? Like, if you imagine a movie scene of a bunch of girls trying to escape from one of these, there's that, like, Runaways song.
Oh, good choice.
You know what I mean? Where they're just like, but I can't leave you. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. I was like,
Can you imagine
Joan,
the
get the fuck out of here.
Camaraderie of, like, doing your best to survive these places. I'm trying to find a picture of the outside of the building.
There's
like,
one.
There's not many that still exist. Like, most of them have been, demoed for the land that they're on.
Yeah.
And
the walls would have been the first thing to come down. Like, just because it makes it more difficult to get construction
Please
equipment.
hold. Did I just Okay, so.
The Woman in the Wall.
The history of the Magdelene Laundries. It's on Showtime.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Oh, I'm going to traumatize myself tonight.
Yeah, there's the tombstone.
Oh.
What do we got on this tombstone here? Because these are baby names. Yeah, these are 100%. Look, so we're reading. There's a picture. Please
pray for the repose of the souls of the residents of Our Lady of Charity Home,
Sean McDermott Street.
Oh.
And it's just like Anne Flanagan, May Doris, Mary Dunn, Ellen Kilsenan, Christina Ward. Oh my God, she didn't have a last name. That's what that is. It's Ward. She's a Ward. Yeah. Anastasia O'Connor.
Bridget.
Ket something probably else.
It's only a partial photo, so we're kind of reading it at an angle.
Yeah, but it's just like they're going down the months and it's the same year. It's just like 81, 81, 81, 82, 83, 83, 83.
And it looks like it's one of many.
Yeah.
So these places, this is a dark spot in, like, modern history, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because this is a milled stone. So this is when they say 81, they mean 1981. Because that's a lathe. Yep. That wasn't hand cut. It's too small. Fuck, dude. I mean, every one of these places looks like a really old university or like sanitarium. There's a good picture of the tops. This is an industrial building. There's I-beams and there's parkan lighting on top, which means that this place was made in the 1900s. This is a new building, or at least a retrofitted building. But those are support beams, and none of them are wood. This was built in the 1900s. This is like 1920s architecture.
And these are young women.
That's so fucking...
And children.
Yeah, like some of these people look like they're 11.
Yeah, she can't be older than 13. Is it a boy?
It does appear, but it might just be a bowl-cutted little girl. Little boys, little girls sometimes just look a lot alike. There's not a, pre-puberty. There's not a lot of difference.
So, yeah. There are interviews with survivors. Like, I found a few of them online, and these women are just traumatized. There was apparently, like, as one of the facilities was shut down either by the state or lack of funding, or maybe the community rose up and said, fucking enough. I don't know. I didn't get into that. But there was one of these facilities was shut down, and there was a mass exodus of the country of the women that were held in this facility.
Oh, fuck yeah. You don't want to risk going back.
Yeah.
Like you want to get the hell out of there. Like, you're not staying in Ireland.
They went to England.
Yeah.
Like, they went away.
Anything to get, yeah, sure. And they're going to go to, like, if you're a young Catholic woman, you get thrown in one of these places. you're going to like Lutheran Germany. You're not sticking around.
Yeah,
you're going to
this.
anyone you think is opposed to this.
And like I was reading that there are a few of them that went on to get married and have children and, you know, work through some of the trauma to have normal lives, but the majority of them.
Oh, you're fucked. I mean, your brain's got to be so shattered. So I want to mention something about the picture that we're currently looking at, because they were called the Laundries, right? So I want to describe what I'm seeing. On the left side, I'm seeing some folding tables. And on the right side, there are round looms. And I want to point this out because either those things are manglers, large steel roll manglers. For those of y'all who don't know what a mangler is, they're two large, like think of a rolling pin. And they touch and they roll together so they squeeze things. So you put fabric through them and they squeeze the water out of a large amount of sheets. The thing is, they're so big. A mangler of that size, if your hand gets anywhere, that's a press. That's a press mangler. Mm-hmm. If your hand gets near that blade,
you're going in.
It's fucking powder. Yeah, you're going in. You're going to get pulled in.
And these were
there's
children.
Not going to be a lot left. Like,
yeah. All of that outrage, all of the that you're feeling right now was me yesterday.
That's like it. I'm like legitimately getting emotional right now because most of this was like horrendous, but seeing a picture with a giant mangler and going like, if that kid's hand touches that, it's gonna rip their arm off.
Yeah, it's
like that. That's what will happen. You'll get pulled in.
Your
body will stop right here and it will disconnect at the arm, and you will probably die.
Yeah,
like
you will bleed out. There's no unless somebody's standing by with a torch, you're gonna bleed out.
There has got to be a survivor or a woman in this area that's just like missing a fucking hand.
I don't know. I did not allow myself to delve.
No,
that
I
deep.
would. That wouldn't be healthy for your mind.
But there is an incredible lack of records.
Oh, of course,
in all of this, both medical records, birth certificates, death certificates, intake forms. Like there is a quarter of the forms that there was of the population. And recently, like I said, I think it was 2014 or 2016. Yeah. The government, the country, issued an apology to the survivors of this place.
The government, because this is Dublin. The picture we're looking at. So this is largely Southern and Catholic Ireland, right? So Southern Ireland.
Yeah.
Not the oranges, right? This is Protestant.
Well, yeah, but they started it, remember?
Yeah.
And then they handed it to the Catholics.
Handed off probably as things started to separate. Mm-hmm. Here's the crazy part. Well, it's all crazy.
It's all
crazy, but
it is all like cranked to 15 crazy.
The current government of Ireland did not exist when this photo was taken.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now,
granted, at that point, I don't know how much of it was still prison-esque. From what I read, it was bad.
This is pretty prison-esque. I mean, this photo was probably taken in the 1920s, 1930s.
Yeah. This
is pretty prison-esque.
Now, I don't know if it stayed that way into the 90s when it closed. My hope is that it like cooled its fucking jets a bit.
So I got some bad news for you.
I knew it.
All right, so this is one area that I do kind of know a little bit about. Mm-hmm. In the 1980s, there was a wave of austerity politics that took over most of. This wouldn't have affected Southern Ireland as much because I think they might have had a different government by that time. That's a good thing to look up when Ireland separated from England, because Southern Ireland is its own government. Mm-hmm. The equivalent of Ronald Reagan in Great Britain at the time was Margaret Thatcher, right? She did the same kind of shit. Her austerity politics closed factories all over the Commonwealth, but mostly in like a lot of factories in the outskirts of English territory, right? So like English proper United Kingdom territory. Scotland went through it fucking hard. There was when you go in the 90s, there's a rapid rise in crime. Drugs are a massive issue. The same is true. Like Dublin was a pretty rough place for a long time because of these austerity. Like it affected everyone because we were doing it. They were doing it.
Your frustration is palpable.
I know what happens in institutions when the budget gets cut.
Mm-hmm. Things get worse.
Yeah. if there's any saving grace in this, it's that this system was so closed. Because if there was, and this is also the thing that may make it much worse, right? We haven't touched on the male element or even the older female element. Current day orphanages often have a problem with sexual abuse. It's not always super common. People work really hard to make it not. I cannot imagine that that was not an issue here. You've got like throwaway women, like women that people don't care about. They're all above the age of 12 and probably largely below the age of 25. So vulnerable in general.
Yeah.
This is giving me the ick hard.
Yeah. Like everything about this.
Fuck.
So, yeah. That welcome to episode 2 of Morbid Mondays.
Oh, God.
Whee!
Go touch some grass.
I'm gonna go fucking roll in it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the sunshine while I can. Shit.
Just fucking, if you see in your life something heading towards this direction,
burn it.
Sledgehammers cost about $15. There's no fucking way. I mean, like, oh my God, are you kidding me? How do you... This is a fucking horror show.
Yeah.
Like
I believe there is an ongoing lawsuit from basically the offspring that were filtered through this system that have no records of their birth. They just kind of appear in this family.
23andMe told me you killed my fucking mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's...
Like there is... I didn't look into it because, like I said, I feel like that one is its own episode.
Yeah,
like
just the horror that is lost children.
Yeah. Like, I have notes from one of the Morbid Mondays that I was going to film and never did, but it's the Butterbox Babies.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Don't.
That's an episode.
Don't.
I'll tell you about Cambodia, and you can tell me. It's a holiday, I hear. A holiday in Cambodia. I'll tell you about Cambodia. You can tell me about Butterbox Babies.
Yeah, it's.
There's an evil committee somewhere that just makes these names. You know?
Oh my God.
I'm just one of these days we're gonna do one of these, and there's just gonna become like, this is the ham press kid. What? This is the glass bottles on walls.
Yes.
Is our kid with two rows of teeth. Extra rows of teeth.
Yep, we have
extra rows of teeth kid.
Extra teeth and now broken glass bottles on the walls. Are you thoroughly traumatized, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very fun. I love you so much.
I love you too.
But at the same time, I just leave sometimes going like,
what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's woof. It's a lot. It's a lot. And like you'll notice I at one point just set my notebook aside because what do you say?
There's a room with like 30 tiny Bloody Marys in it.
Yeah.
You know, like they've been cordoned off in this little makeshift Tower of London with glass bottle walls and bars on the windows and
manglers in the laundry room.
Manglers in the laundry room. And then like also there's a septic tank with like 50 babies in it. Bring your unwanted daughters to the gristle mill.
Yep.
We've got a slave labor camp. We need to shave their head and give them a number.
Fun times in history. It's awful.
You know what's super stupid too?
Lots, and go on.
This is maybe a closing note because we're at like an hour and 30 and it's...
Yes!
I'm not even going to edit this. I'm just going to start making these and the whole thing. At the top of all of this, there's like a single guy.
Yeah,
there's a single cardinal that's over like all of this.
Mephisto. All right, fucking...
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bum, 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 bum.